Welcome to Creative Fish. I'm Tony, and I just wanted to show you my new multi-tank rack setup that I've just built. Now, I've quickly jumped back into this hobby after years of being away, and a lot has changed, but the basics and the primary things are still the same. Filters have changed. Under gravel isn't popular like it used to be, but I'm able to jump back in. I know sponge filters, I've got some of those running in here, but I've also got some hang-on back filters that I'm using currently in the tanks that I have because they're under 55 to 70 gallons, so I feel confident in using those. I jumped back into this because I have two boys, a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. I got interested in fish again with some stuff I'm doing at work, and so I thought I'd share that with them, and they've been so excited about it, and they've jumped in. They're writing down on the names of all the fish that we have. And yeah, so we're just having a blast, and so I just kind of wanted to share with you what we're doing, and this has quickly evolved in the last 2 to 3 months. And so we started with the little 2.5 gallon that we had some little minnows in that I was keeping for a work project. It's kind of like a safety batch of fish, and we jumped up and got a 20-gallon community tank, and then we moved the 2.5 gallon into a 5 gallon. And then we built this huge rack here, which is small in comparison to some of you guys out there on YouTube. You've got some really amazing setups. But based on the room I had here in the garage, right behind me is my wash sink, and wanted to get it in here for quick and easy changes. And so that's kind of what I was working with. And so right now we've got a 40-gallon breeder on top and 3 20 longs on the bottom. And this is going to be an African Cichlid tank. I know that you know, there's a lot of people that run 40-gallon breeder cichlid tanks, and they seem to be doing great, and I know that there's a lot of people out there. Let's be honest, we're very opinionated when it comes to fish. This hobby, for some reason, everybody has an opinion on how to do things, and I can imagine the comments that'll happen below and the thumbs downs and that kind of stuff that's going to happen. I've seen it already, and so I know. So we've got the African Cichlid tank, and then we've got here a freshwater puffer, a green spotted puffer fish, and then over here's a South American cichlids. And now I know this is kind of like grow out tanks. The one in the middle is empty because I ordered a lot of stuff on Amazon using Prime, and for some reason this stuff says it won't ship for another month or two. I don't know where it's shipping from. I'm guessing somewhere over in Asia. And so I got something else coming in for it on Wednesday, so a day or two from now I'll have this up and running and getting some of the filtration going. So what do? We built the typical stand. You go to like the king of DIY, and he's got awesome rack building videos on how to do it, so I didn't waste my time doing a how-to. I just took his plans and I've modified it to be able to fit the tanks that I have, but using all the supporting methods that he's instructed about, where all of these have a basic support that runs all the way up through, and then the shelves wrap around that, and then they have supports that carry the weight. Now up on top I've got another shelf. There's nothing on it right now, but it's potential to have, it could have another 40 breeder, it could have another set of, well, I can't have 20 longs so it doesn't stick out, but I could maybe put a bunch of 10s up there if I wanted to do a bunch of like guppy breeders or something like that. But I'm not sure what I'm going to do up there, so right now it's completely empty. I've used just pool filter sand like a lot of people do. It's a great media, it's inexpensive, and so that's what we're running. I've got sponge filters in the bottom with the freshwater puffer. I've taken it's not really geared or for this tank size. It's a 5 to 15 Aquatech, but I had it already on the 5-gallon tank, and so it had been running for a couple months, and I used that to help get the biological filter going in this tank very rapidly. And now for the other ones, I used the sponge filter in here and another one in here, and so what I did is I put those in a 20-gallon tank that I've had running as well to get those kind of built up and to cycle them very quickly. And so these tanks are doing really well. They've been running now for a couple of days with fish in them, and everything's going good except for the freshwater puffer, and that's a story I'll get into in just a second. But the the African Cichlid tank. So what do I have in there? I've got a Demasani, I've got an electric yellow, I've got the yellow finned C, I think it is. I might be blanking on that. I've got blue regal peacock, and he hides in there a lot right now. He's not coming out, probably because of all the imbunas in here. What else do I have? I have a Plecostomus, and I have one other one in there, which I'll have to just kind of put up a little text on the screen because I can't remember the name of it. But there's a yellow and black one in there. And so, beautiful fish, can't think of the name. The South American, I've got blood parrots and a Jack Dempsey and a convict. And then, like I said, I have the green spotted puffer in this one. Now, this is a little bit of a story, and I've never had puffer fish before. I've had cichlids, and I know what I need to do for those, and these tanks are doing great. But the puffer is kind of a mystery to me, and everybody has different opinions about it. I go to one pet store and talk to their manager of the fish section, and they'll tell me one thing. I'll go to a different store and they'll tell me another. Some say, oh no, that's a freshwater fish. We keep it in with the cichlids. The other one's like, no, it's brackish water. You need to have a salinity of 1.006. So where I bought it from, that was the case. It said brackish, and that's what I did with this. And almost, in a couple of hours, I lost one of them, like overnight. So it was probably, I don't know what happened, 8 to 12 hours. And so I thought, well, there were a couple in the tank that weren't doing well. Maybe that's why I had issues. Maybe it was already sick. Well, then the other one started kind of floating upright. It's, mouth down, tail up. And so I'm thinking, something's going on here. So what I did is I did a 50% water change, and I didn't add any more salt. I tried to bring the salt levels down. I still lost the one that wasn't doing well and was kind of looking, like he was sick and was definitely having issues. But now this one green spotted puffer seems to be thriving with this more freshwater setup. So I've never done these. I'm learning. I hate to lose fish when I'm introducing them to a tank. That's the last thing I want to do. I'm not about that. So that really kind of was a bummer and really kind of made me grieve a bit about this tank and worry about this last one. I don't know. I'm trying to get this right. I want to now just research the daylights out of this more than I've already done and try and get it right. But again, everybody's telling different things, and it's tough because everybody is so opinionated, as I said. And their way is the only way, and then you go somewhere else and their way is the only way, but it's completely different. And so, which do you go with? And so I'm confused about these right now, and I'm hoping to gain a little bit more insight. I'm hoping I can keep this one going and alive. The tank itself is doing well as far as all of the ammonia, nitrates, all of that. But that's what I've got going on here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this tank yet. But my other tanks, I've got the 20 gallon, it's a community tank. It's got a bunch of different like neons and danios, 2 dwarf grammies, and an African spotted leaffish, and a mono shrimp. And it's it's a bit crowded, but I'm keeping up on water changes. It's doing really well, and all the fish are thriving. When I come up to the tank, they are all at the front. They want some food. They kind of know my presence being around, and so that's a lot of fun. We've got 2 beta fish. That's where it's at. This is what we've got going on right now. Like I said, it's rapidly changing, and it's been really exciting, a lot of fun, and the kids are totally into it. So we'll be doing some more with these tanks. We'll go in a little bit more probably and show some more details about what's going on as we develop each of these tanks, because right now these ones are pretty bare. This one I've started introducing some rocks, but they're not real rocks. I was really worried about the extra and added weight on this with rocks in the setup, so I was kind of waiting to see. So I've got like this coral type thing and then another holy rock for them to kind of hang out and hide in and swim through and all of that. But this has plenty of hiding spots for the 6 that I've got in there. In fact, that, like I said, that the Regal Blue, you can't even find him. Like, you could lift this rock out and he'd just stay in there. It's pretty crazy. He just wants to be hidden that much right now. So, but this is probably about at capacity, maybe, I'm thinking, for the size. As these get bigger, I don't really want to overcrowd it too much. And I know some people do 40-gallon breeders and they've just got a ton in there. So I'm not sure. That's kind of, again, where opinions vary, and with cichlids being a community-style fish, but also liking hiding spots and being territorial. So we'll see. I've done more in a tank this size before, and it did really well. So the verdict is still out on this, and I'm going to keep researching and seeing what I'm going to do. Again, this might just also be a grow tank, and maybe expanding into other areas. But I'm running fluval lights. I've got the Fluval Pro full spectrum on the top. I've got a live plant in the front, a fake plant in the back. I'm going to kind of develop this a lot more. This one down here is like the Fluval Sky, which has the LEDs. It does the thunderstorms and all of that kind of stuff. My kids love that, so this is kind of for their area, and these are their tanks. I'm letting them decorate them how they want, which is why we've got this Tyrannosaurus Rex down here. The other son picked these really bright, colorful flowers in a stump. So, and then I stole one of my media, or my caves, out of my 20-gallon to put in here to give more hiding places for these cichlids. And so everything's kind of moving around and swapping around, and we're trying to figure out where everything's going to go and how it's all going to be set up. But this is a good starting point, and we're loving it, and so that's a good thing. And the kids are getting into it, and they're learning about fish. They're learning about these cycles, unfortunately, with these, about the death of fish, and kind of working through that. I'd love to get them into the new birth cycle with some guppies and breeding, and so we'll keep developing. So we hope you guys will join us on this adventure of ours and this learning process as I relearn this and the kids learn it for the first time. So thanks for stopping by Creative Fish. I'm Tony, and we'll check you guys later.